Hi, it's Kristen and happy Pride Month. It's June, it's Pride Month. Every June for the past couple of years, I've done a little Pride themed reading vlog, and I'm going to do it again this year. Essentially, all that entails is I read books with queer characters by queer authors, with queer themes, etc. So I've got 3 here that I definitely want to get to, and then if I have time in the rest of the month, I have some backups, but these are the 3 I definitely want to get to. So first up we have Me, My Dad and the End of the Rainbow by Benjamin Dean. This is about a young boy whose parents split up and he's not sure why, and then he finds a flyer in his dad's bag for Pride. So he and his friends go on this journey of discovering what that is, what that means, and learning about Pride. It sounds really cute. It's a middle grade. I'm excited to read it. I've had this on my shelf for a while. I won it in a giveaway last year on Instagram, and I'm excited to get to it. Next up we have Felix Ever After by Kayson. This one's about a young boy named Felix who starts receiving transphobic messages from someone in his school with things like his dead name and pictures of him before he transitioned, and I believe he tries to work out who it is and potentially get revenge. This one I've heard really good things about. Its cover's beautiful. This edition has gorgeous edges, and it's a young adult, so I'm hoping I can read it pretty fast. And lastly, the one I definitely want to get to is The Black Flamingo by Dean Atta. This is about a young drag queen, I believe, and is told in verse, and there's different illustrations within the book, and pages that are like notes and different colours, and I think it will be a really good read. I've heard like nothing but good things about this one, so I'm excited to get to it. I'm hoping that'll be a quick read as well. All of these should potentially be quick reads, as we've got a middle grade, a young adult, and I'm not sure if this is young adult or adult. I think it might be more leaning to the young adult side, but is in verse. Had these all on my TBR for a year. I've been keeping them specifically for this video because I thought they'd be good for this kind of reading vlog, but obviously we should all be reading queer books year round anyway. So yeah, these are the 3 I definitely want to get to, and I will let you know what I think. So I've hit the 100-page point. The story's progressing, obviously. So Archie, who's our main character, I don't know why I thought he was younger than he is. He's 12. I don't know why I thought he was younger than that, because obviously if the story is him and his friends going to Pride, he would have to be slightly older to go to something like that by himself. But anyway, so Archie has overheard his parents arguing, and then his mum encouraging his dad to say out loud that he's gay. Archie overhears all this and so knows and has now spoken to his dad about it, and someone from school he knows that is an older student who is gay. He's spoken to him about it. What I do think is interesting is we get obviously Archie dealing with this revelation, because as far as he was aware, his dad was straight and had been married to his mum, so he's dealing with it. We also get to see his dad dealing with it, and we also get to see his mum dealing with it, which I think is interesting. We're seeing how it affects everyone in the family from different viewpoints, and how, even though they're supportive of the dad, or they try to be, it's still difficult for them, difficult for the mum, because she was married to this man for many years, and this has thrown her a bit. So yeah, I think I like that it's showing different viewpoints and is quite, I guess, nuanced in that different characters feel different things, and it's not all just one note or one viewpoint, one feeling about the situation, which I think for a children's book is good. The last thing that's just happened is they've had an awkward family dinner, and a piece of paper has fallen out of his dad's pocket. So I think that's the flyer for Pride or some LGBT group. That's what I'm assuming that is. So we will see. I just finished reading Me, My Dad and the End of the Rainbow, and I really liked it. It's very sweet, very fun, although kind of stressful. As an adult, reading about 3 kids deciding to take a trip to London together without fully planning everything out made me so anxious. But obviously everything was fine and it was a happy ending. I feel like that's not really a spoiler. I really liked this. I liked that there were a bunch of drag queens and their queer family and friends who sort of came to the rescue for these kids, and that we dealt with different people's perspectives and reactions and emotions on the dad being gay and coming out, and how it affected him and his son and his ex-wife and just their family unit, but that ultimately everyone was very supportive in their different ways, and the ending was really lovely. For me, this was a 3.5 star. I think if I'd read this when I was younger, I would have loved it more, but as an adult, I am aware that it's not for me. It's middle grade. I think this is a really great book for younger people to read. I think it's quite informative without being too complicated or going into lots of technicalities. It covered the basic labels, and sort of explained what drag queens were and things like that, but didn't get too deep into politics or anything. It was a good sort of introductory story, with informative moments. I think it would be a great way to introduce someone to learning about the LGBT community. This is mostly here for emotional and entertainment purposes, but I think it does a good job at both. So yes, if you have a younger reader in your life who wants to read about diverse stories, I would definitely recommend this one. So if you just like middle grade, if you're a middle grade reader, I recommend this. Had a lot of fun with it. Next up, I'm going to go slightly older and read a YA, and that's Felix Ever After. I am excited because it's a trans story, and I feel like I need to read more trans stories. And yeah, I've heard good things about this, so I will get started with this probably this evening, and I will let you know what I think when I get into it. I am about a quarter of the way through Felix Ever After by Kayson calendar. I'm really enjoying it so far. It's really easy to read. It got me into it straight away. The plot kicked off really quickly, which I appreciate. I like the characters so far. I really like the setting and atmosphere. There, Felix and his friends attend an art school, and it's the summer program. And so it's just them in the city going to this summer program. And when I started reading it was really hot. It's been quite hot here for like the past couple of weeks. And Felix was talking about how hot it was in the city and how it was June and it was Pride Month, and I was like, yes, that's what it currently is. But obviously in New York for Felix rather than in England. But yeah, I like the atmosphere of New York City in summer and a summer creative program and arts college. Just sounds really fun. Yeah, I like that it's quite complex and is talking about like complex issues and characterization and stuff, because Felix has these like conflicting feelings of feeling like indebted or grateful to certain people like his dad, but also acknowledges that his dad hurts his feelings as well. So he's grateful to his dad for helping him out and providing him somewhere to live and being really great with helping him go to the school he wants to go to and providing money for his surgeries and things. But at the same time, his dad isn't fully supportive because he dead names or misgenders Felix, which is obviously really triggering and just generally not good. So he has these conflicting, complex feelings, and I think the exploration of that within the book is really good and important. And there's just loads of queer characters who have conversations about being queer and identity and labels. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm nervous about the plot because the first scene where Felix, that really kicks off the plot, Felix is dead named and has photos of himself before he transitioned, shared with people in his school, which is just so terrible. And I feel like Felix's anxiety and sadness is really evident in the writing. That really kicks off the plot, and so Felix then thinks he knows who did it and has decided to catfish that person to find out a secret about them that he is then going to share with the school as like revenge. So the catfishing has just sort of begun, and it's just making me nervous for where this is going to go. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. It's very engaging. It does read young, but it is young adult, but there are also mature themes within, such as like drug taking and alcohol drinking and, you know, just stuff like that. But yeah, I'm going to get back into this because I'm enjoying it. Yesterday I finished reading Felix Ever by Kayson and I really enjoyed it. The person who was behind the horrible anonymous messages was the person I thought it was, but I still think the reveal was done well. I thought it was such a lovely story. I wasn't, if I'm honest, particularly fussed with the romance in here, but I did just love all the conversations about queer identity and gender identity and finding the right label for you if you even want to label yourself, and how we got different perspectives on gender and how people can feel differently and identify differently, and just how it's such a personal choice. And we got Felix's perspective on that and then other characters' perspectives too. I just thought they were really great, informative, complex, emotional conversations, and I think this could be really affirming or reaffirming to queer people, especially queer teens and trans or non-binary people. I can't fully comment on that. I'm cis, so I couldn't personally relate, but I thought it was discussed really well, and I have seen other people who are trans review this very positively. So yeah, if you like queer young adult contemporary that focuses on love and identity, and not even just like love romantically, but like platonic love and loving yourself and stuff like that, and if you like stories and characters that have to do with like art, Felix is very creative. Throughout the book, Felix goes through a journey of like finding what he wants to paint as his summer project and for his portfolio, and so it's like his creative process. And I just think the way that the paintings and like colour and the descriptions used were really cool, and I liked it a lot. Yeah, I think this was a great book. It was a 4-star read for me, which is great. And then this morning I started The Black Flamingo by Dean Atta. I only read it for a little while, but I'm already like 50 pages in, because it's told in verse, so it reads very quickly, and I'm enjoying it so far. I'm looking forward to getting further into it. I'm really enjoying The Black Flamingo. I just wanted to say, like, I'm glad I'm reading it physically, because there are pages that are done like stylistically. So for example, I'm gonna like switch this around. This page is like text format, and there are little like drawings and notes pages, and I just think it is effective reading it physically rather than if it were like audiobook or whatever. So if you have the chance to read it physically, I would do that. So last night I finished The Black Flamingo by Dean Atta. Started it yesterday, finished it yesterday. It was great. Because it's written in verse, as I've said. It was, yeah, just really quick to read. I sped through it. Also because I was like really enjoying the story, and it had like great rhythm to it, especially the bits that are specifically Michael, the main character's poetry. There were really great discussions and explorations of gender identity and racial identity in here, because Michael, our main character, struggles with feeling like he's not queer enough and feeling like he's not black enough, and so reading like his thought process and his conversations and discussions with other characters was really great, and seeing how he grows as a person and how his like mindset changes over the years. This starts when Michael is about 5 or 6 years old and ends when he's 19 and at university, so you do see his progression. And even though like that sounds like a lot of time to pass within like 350 or so pages, it does feel very natural, and I think there is really good progression. Yeah, I really liked it. I liked the side characters, because even though certain characters weren't in it much, I still felt like they were fleshed out. I definitely got a sense of their personality. I really liked the point where he went to university. I thought it was written really well, and it just felt very real, and I felt very nostalgic for my uni days of like, he goes to check out different societies, and he talks about feeling like he has some friends but also feeling lonely in his like halls of residence, and going out clubbing and stuff, and that just made me feel very very nostalgic for my uni days. And as a fan, personally as a fan of drag and drag artists, I loved reading about his discovery of drag and him creating his drag persona and coming up with his costume and learning makeup skills, and then we see his performance at the end, him working out his routine and stuff. I just really enjoyed that. I loved it. I thought it was great if you like young adult / new adult, I know that's not so much a thing, with queer characters, especially if you like artistry like poetry and performance art and drag. I would highly recommend this one. I give it like a really solid 4, maybe 4.5 stars. I'm really difficult to get a 5-star rating out of. I very rarely give out 5 stars, so that is nothing against this book. I thought it was fantastic. So what an excellent book to end on for this vlog. I've liked all the books I've read. We've steadily got not better in terms of the books, but better in terms of my personal rating. We started off with a 3.5 star with Me, My Dad, and the End of the Rainbow, a great queer acceptance middle grade, very informative, very cute. Then we had a solid 4 star with Felix Ever After, again fun queer acceptance, all about relationships, a young adult that was just fast moving with like a little bit of a mystery to keep things going in a setting about like love and friendship. And then a 4.5 stars about queer acceptance and identity and personas, I think he describes it in the book being like fierce, being free, just being himself. Yeah, great. I really enjoyed all these books. Really enjoyed my reading over the past couple of weeks. Yeah, it makes me, I really enjoyed all these books, and it makes me want to read more queer books as well, but with like different themes. These were all about accepting either themselves or like a family member and their queerness and their identity in general. And also what I think is great about all these, they all were people of colour. The characters, we had Archie, Felix and Michael. So I love that we're potentially like branching out from just white people. Makes me want to read more queer literature that's diverse in more ways than just gay. You know, I want to read more trans literature. Want to read more with diverse friendship groups that have made up of lots of queer people who are queer in different ways. And I think queer middle grade, while I don't read a ton of middle grade, I'm so glad that it's a thing that is getting more traction. So yes, I would recommend any of these books. If you have any recommendations of books that are like these, or just any queer literature that's not even like, I think like all queer coming out stories, or not even coming out, these characters have already been out in some cases, but that aren't necessarily just about accepting queerness or learning about gender or sexual identity, but it's just like fun, because these were all fun but did have that element of finding who they are, and had sad moments, which every like young adult book tends to have some serious point in it, but I just want more fun queer stories, and also queer stories about discovery, just all the queer stories. If you have any recommendations of any LGBTQIAP plus books, whether that's like author, character, multiple characters, whether queerness has anything to do with the plot or not, please leave recommendations below. If you've read any of these books, please share your thoughts, and keep reading books within the LGBTQ plus community. Don't just read it during Pride Month. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye!